Join me as I dive into 7 mind-blowing GDP facts that will totally change the way you think about the economy. GDP, or Gross Domestic Product, is often thrown around in the news and by economists, but what does it actually mean? In simple terms, GDP measures the total value of goods and services produced within a country's borders over a specific time period, usually a year. It's a way to quantify the size of an economy and track its growth rate, which is crucial for understanding a nation's financial health and making informed policy decisions. One common misconception about GDP is that it's a direct measure of a country's standard of living. However, that's not entirely accurate. GDP only captures production within a country. It doesn't account for income inequality, environmental degradation, or the depletion of natural resources. Some critics argue that GDP misconstrues economic activity with economic well-being. For instance, if a country's GDP increases due to a natural disaster, which requires extensive rebuilding efforts, that doesn't necessarily mean the citizens are better off. Another misconception is that GDP is a perfect indicator of a country's economic growth. However, GDP can be influenced by external factors like foreign investment, which may not necessarily benefit the local population. Moreover, it's possible for a country to have a high GDP growth rate, but a significant portion of its population remains in poverty. GDP also doesn't account for the value of unpaid work, such as household chores or volunteer work, which can be essential to a country's social fabric. Many people also believe that GDP is only useful for economists and policymakers. But the truth is, GDP affects everyone. It influences interest rates, inflation, and employment opportunities, all of which have a direct impact on our daily lives. By understanding GDP, we can better navigate the complexities of the global economy and make more informed decisions about our own financial lives. GDP is often used as a yardstick to compare the size of different economies. But what if I told you that the United States, the world's largest economy, has a GDP that's roughly the same size as the combined GDP of all the countries in South America? Or that China, the world's second largest economy, has a GDP that's been growing at an average rate of over 10% per year for the past 3 decades. These interesting facts highlight the vast differences in the size and growth rates of economies around the world. Did you know that the concept of GDP was first introduced by Simon Kuznets, a Russian-American economist in the 1930s? Kuznets was tasked by the U.S. Congress to develop a system to measure the nation's economy during the Great Depression. Since then, GDP has become a widely accepted indicator of economic activity. However, it's still not a perfect measure. In recent years, there have been calls to develop alternative metrics that capture a broader range of economic and social outcomes. One of the most surprising facts about GDP is that it can be significantly affected by something as seemingly trivial as Netflix. In the United States, the value of entertainment and recreation services, which includes streaming services like Netflix, accounts for a substantial percentage of the country's GDP. This highlights the significant impact that consumer spending can have on a country's economy. But the most mind-blowing GDP fact, in my opinion, is that the global economy is over $88 trillion in size, but over $1 quadrillion of financial assets are traded every year. That's more than 11 times the size of the global economy. This staggering number highlights the massive scale of global financial markets and the immense power they wield over the global economy. In conclusion, these 7 GDP facts have shown us the complexity and nuances of this important economic indicator. By understanding GDP, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the intricacies of the global economy and make more informed decisions about our own financial lives. So, which GDP fact surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out my other videos for more economic insights and analysis.